People are understanding something, are bringing peace in their lives. And you can be a part of the magic regardless of where you are. This evening, I'd like to just right off the bat welcome everybody, and I'm glad you're here to listen to what I have to talk about. Because peace is real. This life is real. That divinity that has created us, sustains us, has created this world, every wave, every drop, is real. It's not a fantasy. It's not a concept. It's not an idea. So, why is it so difficult? Because there's all these people who are searching. There's all these people who lecture about it. And yet, after all the books have been written and all the lectures have been done and all the things have been done, it all seems so elusive. So, relax. Let me tell you a story, which is a story and a joke. So, once upon a time, there was this doctor. And he was the best doctor. At least he thought so. But he was so good. He was so good that he created a replica of himself. And there was a reason. And the reason was because he knew one day he's going to die. And when he dies, the death will come. And death will be only allowed to take one. And he will have two. Look exactly alike. And because there will be two, death will be confused. And the death will return empty-handed, and the doctor can then live forever. This was the plan. So he created a perfect replica of himself, and then lo and behold, the day came. So he got the replica and he laid the replica on the ground. And he also laid down right next to the replica, the copy. And they're both lying there, eyes closed. And death came. And the rule is only one, not two. So the death looked and looked and looked and couldn't tell the difference. They both looked identical. But the rule was only one. So the death thought and thought and thought, well, I have to take one person. I cannot take the wrong person. I have to take the doctor, not the other one. But I have a dilemma. I mean, they both look identical. Who do I take? So the death thinks and thinks and thinks. And the death says, Doctor, you have done an incredible job. Amazing. Amazing. In fact, I cannot tell the difference. But you forgot one thing. And the doctor is lying there, listening to this. And when the death says, you have done an incredible job, the doctor is, yes. Yes. His ego is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, proud. And when the death says, but you forgot one thing, the doctor could not stand it. And he said, what? And the death said, that. You took everything into account. The look, the skin, the feel, everything. But you have an ego that is so big, no humility, because had you been humble and kept your mouth shut, I would have returned today empty-handed. But you had no humility, none. I said you did something wrong, and you went, what? Not 1 second of discipline, because if you would have just exercised a little discipline, a little fact, a little understanding that here I am trying to cheat death, let me do this perfectly, you would have been alive. Now I've got you. So, why did I tell you that? Well, that is the reason why in the name of God so many people die. That is the reason that human beings are killing human beings. Should a buffalo be afraid of a buffalo? Should a buffalo be afraid of a buffalo? Should a fly be afraid of a fly? Should a mosquito be afraid of a mosquito? But as human beings, we have a lot more to fear from other human beings than from a bloody mosquito. With the mosquito, we can spray. But what spray do you spray against your own fellow human beings who will destroy you without thinking twice? This is what is happening. And why? Because they are right. They are right. I always think, why do human beings point up when the subject of God comes? Where is God? They go, eh. Let me ask you a question. A simple question. When something is really, really, really precious to you, where do you put it? I travel a lot. I have to show my passport to the immigration. Where do you think I put my passport? You know where I put my passport? Here. In this pocket. This is where I put my passport. And anytime I have a question, where is your passport? You know what I do? I feel it. When something is really precious to me, I don't put it far from me. Where do I put it? As close to me as possible. As close to me as possible. Do you know there is a belt for keeping money? And it goes under your clothes, under, not above, under your clothes, so that you can hide it. And how close is that? The reason why I mention this passport example, the money belt example, is God precious to you? Is God precious to you? Precious to me. Then where would God be? If God was away from me, I would forget. I'd forget God somewhere. But where is that God? Where is that divinity? In my heart. Wherever I go, I carry that. Whatever I do, it is there. In good times, it is there. In bad times, it is there. When I get lost, it is there. And when I am found, that divinity is there. And I cannot separate myself from that divinity inside of me, even if I want to, because the day I am separated from that divinity, I will not be I anymore. That is how close and inseparable we are. And yet, where do we look? On top of a mountain. Where do we look? Up in the sky. Where do we look? Somewhere here, somewhere there. Everywhere but where that divinity is. You think what I am saying is simple? Of course it is simple. But the implications of our neglect are incredibly complex. Because we want peace in our lives, and peace evades us. Who here does not want the love, even if it is in the form of approval? I've said it. Husband seeks it from the wife. Wife seeks it from the husband. If you have children, you seek it from the children. Children, if they are young, they seek it from you. If they are older, you seek it from them. And if they are even older than that, they seek it from their friends. If you have a job, you seek it from the boss. In this whole world, we are looking for approval. For somebody to say, sí, muy bien. You are good, everything is good, you're doing good. What is it? Promotion. A little bit more money. A little further along in this world. Approval. A little love. a little acknowledgement of you, acknowledgement of you. How difficult would it be for you if every day you came in your house and your wife said nothing to you? How difficult would it be for your wife if you said nothing to her? How difficult it would be if your children said nothing to you? You seek this approval, but do you know what approval is? Do you? Now let me tell you. The most incredible approval comes from the divine. In the form of this breath. This is what I call the blessing. You want blessing in your life, don't you? Sometimes you pray, right? Do you pray? You pray, God. If you're late for office, you go, oh God, please don't let me be late. God has nothing to do with it. You woke up early. You woke up late. You were busy doing something else. You were busy watching television. You were busy doing this. You were busy looking at the girls. You were busy looking at the boys. You were busy thinking and daydreaming. That's why you are late. And now you pray to God, God, please don't let me be late. God didn't make the meeting. You ask for blessings, you ask for your prayers to be answered, but the biggest prayer has been answered. The biggest. The moment this breath comes into you, you've been blessed. And what does it bring? What does it bring? It brings the gift of all gifts possible. It floods the gift of life. Not wife, life. 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 Do you understand what life is? Will you understand what life is? Of course. When? When you have not left any left. Then you will go, that was life. When it becomes hard to take the breath, listen, this is, I get very excited about this, I do. This is my whole life. This is beautiful stuff. This is so beautiful. This is not from a book. This is so common sense. It is so obvious. You don't need to be a rocket scientist. You don't need to be a professor. You don't need to be anything. You just need to be a human being to understand this. This is so simple. How does it all begin? How does this story of yours begin? Well, let me tell you how it begins. It begins from you inhaling the first breath. Because you are not yet. Come on. And it's no good. You popped out. You popped out. You're wet and you're blue. 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 And no good. In doctor's opinion, no good. Till you can go. And you take the first breath in. And when you do, two things happen. Your color starts to change. You go from blue to pink. And the blood flow from the umbilical cord starts to die. Now the system knows you are good. So, does the breath say, I don't know if this child can see. I don't know if this child can hear. I don't know if this child is smart. I don't know if this child is going to be rich. I don't know if this child is going to be poor. I don't know if this child is going to be good. I don't know if this child is going to be a thief. I don't know if this child is going to be good for this world. Only one thing. And it just begun. This is how it begins. And do you know how it ends? Even if the person was holding their breath, and that'll be the last. And when it is the last, what does this mean? Nothing. Have you seen an electric guitar? Huh? Have you seen an electric guitar? They're fancy. Some are really fancy. I mean, they take them and they paint them like a car, like layers and layers of beautiful hand-rubbed lacquer. You think that makes the sound? You think that makes the sound? The most expensive part of the guitar does absolutely nothing. The cheapest thing on that guitar are the strings. And it is the string that is the essence, the soul of that guitar. It is that is plucked and it reverberates. And when it reverberates, it produces the sound. And it is the one that needs to be in tune, not the other part. So what do? We're electric guitar too. We're the electric guitar too. And so we rub this and we rub this and we decorate this and we decorate this and we fix 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 this. I mean, can you imagine the first person who held a glass up to his eye and he could see better? Can you imagine how excited that person would have been? I'm just like, wow, look at this. I can see through this and I can actually see. Oh my God. Then came the glasses. And I mean, for somebody who couldn't see, they put the glasses on, they go, wow, that's you. Right? They look at a newspaper and nothing. And they put the glasses on. Oh, now I can see. But then Then something else comes in. Something else goes, but that makes you look old. So people go. The contacts in there. Because we rub this. Today I was shaving. And I started laughing. Because of this. You know, here I am. Going, oh, you gotta be smooth, you know. Mirror, where's the mirror? Where's the... we rub this. Well, what about the string? Is it in tune? Is it? Because if it's not in tune, forget about the song. Oh yes, noise. What is the difference between noise and music? What is the difference between noise and music? When it's not tuned, when it is not in cadence, when it's all just random, it's called noise. You know, when your teenager son learns the drums and you cannot stand it, do you know there are people who go pay money, stand in line to listen to somebody also play drums? But that other one plays it in time, plays it in tune, plays it nicely. That's why it's not noise. Otherwise, it's noise. So now, does your life sometimes feel a little noisy? Oh, don't worry, don't worry. I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to save the world. Elephants are fine. We're the ones who bother them. In fact, we bother ourselves. We don't even need another person to bother us. We can bother ourselves just fine. We actually can bother ourselves so much that we can drive ourselves crazy. We don't need company for that. We can become angry all by ourselves. Nobody actually has to help us become angry. We can actually get angry all by ourselves. Wake up in the morning. It's the same day. And it's like, good morning. What's so good about it? $25,550. 25,550. Do you know what that is? Do you know? I'll tell you. If your life expectancy, on average, is 75 years, that's how many days you're going to be alive. Not much, is it? Not much. You cannot buy a new car for $25,550. It depends which country you go to, but it's not much. Not these days. 25,550 yen is like nothing. Now, of course, lira has changed to EC, but 25,550 lira is like coffee. 25,550. That's how many days you're going to be alive. Minus all the days you've already lived. That's the bad news. You have been withdrawing from your account without realizing how much there is in it. Any accountant will tell you that's not a good idea. You know, when you write a check, you have a little book in the back, and you write the amount you wrote the check for, and a memo if you want, note, and then you can tally it, see how much you've got remaining. You don't do that. You don't do that. You're just writing checks every day, and you only got 25,550, and a whole bunch has gone by, and you were just walking around with your diaper. Going. And the end of it is not that good either. Because your brain will work perfectly, but everything else won't. So you will think absolutely clearly, but you won't be able to say it. You won't see things clearly, but you will think clearly. You think, and this is why I'm bringing this to this point. You know, and some of you I see have more age than I do. I'm quite old, getting older every day, 25,550. I know the number. I have done the math. You know that as you get older and older and older, your body does not function as it used to. You know, when you're young, you can sit down and you can get up, and you can sit down and you can get up. When you get old, if you're up, it's better to stay up. Because it takes a little effort to get down. And then when you're down, it is better to stay down because it takes a lot of effort to get up. But check this out. Even though the entire body fails, your ability to enjoy will remain as young as it ever was. It will not change. Are you still wondering why you were created? Are you still wondering why you are here? Are you still wondering? Maybe just trying to be like Sherlock Holmes a little bit. Maybe, just maybe, it is to enjoy the divine. Because if you're going to enjoy, then naturally you want to enjoy the best. There is only one best. And that's not this. The best is in you. And you, 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 and you. But it's not here, it is here. In the corazón. In the heart. Here. within you till you are alive. That is how it will be. This is it, where the prayer got answered. This is the vessel where the prayer got answered. This is where the divinity dances. This is the bridge. This is the meeting. This is the union. This is the marriage of the finite, which is you, me, and the infinite, have come together. And they want to dance. Do you have objections? You do, if you ask this. If you ask this, show me. This says, show me the infinite. But no problem. This has no problem dreaming dreams that can never come true. You. See, I'll tell you another little story. One day, God decided to come down and walk the earth. So God is walking, goes into the town, too busy, goes and finds a nice quiet place along the river. God is walking, and he hears a human being crying. So God changes himself, becomes another human being, goes and finds out who is crying, and he sees this poor woodcutter crying. And he goes up to him and he says, "What is the matter? Why are you crying? Can I help you?" And the woodcutter says, "I don't know. I make my living by cutting the wood. I only have one axe, and today it accidentally fell in the river. And I'm sad, because how am I going to feed my family? How am I going to feed my wife? How am I going to feed myself?" So God said, "Okay, stay here." God jumped in and brought out a beautiful axe made out of silver. Said, "Is this yours?" And the woodcutter said, "No, that's not mine." God dove down again, brought out the axe made out of gold, beautiful, shining, and said to the woodcutter, "Is this yours?" And the woodcutter said, "No, this is not mine." God dove down, came out with his axe, rusted, bent, terrible. He said, "Is this yours?" And he said, "Yes, that's mine." And God was so impressed with his honesty. God said, "You can keep the silver, you can keep the gold, and you can keep yours." And the woodcutter was very happy. God went back, as the story goes. Months passed. God decided to come down again. He's walking by the river. Again, he hears somebody crying. Changes himself into a human form, comes and says, "Why are you crying now?" He said, "Well, me and my wife were sitting on the branch on the tree in the cool shade, just having lunch, and she fell into the river. And I'm so sad. That's my partner, that's my wife. It's my love, and she fell in the river. That's why I'm crying. And God dove down and brings out Angelina Jolie. And said, "Is this your wife?" And the woodcutter goes, "Yes. That is my wife." God was very upset. Says, "Last time this happened, I was so impressed with your honesty, and look what you have done. I mean, this is obviously not your wife, and yes, you said this is your wife." And the woodcutter said, "Let me explain. I'm only a woodcutter. Last time, you dove down, brought out a silver axe. I said it wasn't mine. Then you brought out the gold axe, and I said that's not mine. Then you brought out mine, and you said I could keep all three. This time, first you will bring out Angelina Jolie, then you will bring out Madonna, then you will bring my wife, and then you will let me have all three. I can't feed three wives. I can only feed one." So, when this thing shows you dreams, do you challenge it? How is that going to be possible? Wow. Angelina Jolie. No. Young men looking for a wife, go to a movie theater, watch Angelina Jolie. God, give me a wife that looks like that. Do you question it? No. You go and get Angelina Jolie's posters and put them in your room and daydream. Someday I will have a wife like that. You don't question it. This says the one you are looking for is within you. And you go, how can it be? Who is lying? Who is lying? Look at this world. Look at this world. This world lies to you. Kabir was born hundreds of years ago, and this is what he already said. They are lying. They're not telling the truth because there is only one truth so far you are concerned, and that truth is the coming and going of this breath for you, because the day that ends, everything else ends too. That's it. That's your battery. Battery gone, flashlight dead. You can hit it, you can talk to it, you can pray to it, you can massage it. But no battery, no light. No battery, no light. No battery, no light. This is your battery. So, aren't you interested in that music that is playing? Because there is a metronome. And it is the metronome of this breath. And it is beating and beating and beating and beating and beating. When you listen to the symphony of existence, what happens? What happens? Kindness fills you. Because you understand. Because you understand. When you don't understand, then you are in doubt. When you are doubt, what do you get filled by? Anger. Fear. Frustration. It's like a crow, you know? The same guitar, out of tune, sounds nasty. And but in tune, Same piano, out of tune. No good. Same keys, same player. Sounds horrible. In tune, in cadence, in that timing, it becomes a symphony. A symphony. What does the conductor do? What does the conductor do? And you've seen conductors. What does the conductor do? He stands there and he conducts now. And when he does, have you seen the musicians? They need the music. They need the music. Which notes I have to play? That's like your responsibility. You have responsibility. You have your job, you have your family, you have your responsibility. So do you have your sheet music? So they look at the sheet music because they have to, like turn the page, whatever. But then, when they know what's coming, they look at the conductor. And he goes, now. Let this be your conductor. You are with answers, not questions, because this world is full of questions. And do you think you will be able to find the answers to those questions? That's what the world's been trying to do for a very long time. And do you know there are more universities now, more schools now than there ever have been? There is more books now than there ever have been. There is more information available now than there ever has been. And do you know there are now more questions than ever have been? How is that possible? You tell me, www, right? There are more writers more poetry there is, more songs. There's a lot more music now than there ever was. There's a lot more poetry now than there ever has been. So, why are there more questions now than there ever have been? Because you haven't yet pursued the avenue of answers. All questions live in one place, answers live in another place. Answers are within you, the questions are, and always will be. Are and will be. So, this is what I came to tell you. I've spoken for an hour. I did not write a speech. I did not memorize a speech. It comes from my heart to your heart. That's not my forte. My forte is to introduce the divine that is within you to you. That's my forte. That's it. Thank you so much for coming tonight. And whatever you do in your life, enjoy yourself. Because that's what you are made for. Thank you. Good night.